put him a right mid, like you said. Every time he goes up the right side, he's juking out 2 or 3 people and putting in a decent cross.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be asinine to sell him, and I don't understand why Ollie doesn't like the guy.
Yeah, it's weird too, because it's like he against Norwich in the FA Cup last year when it went to fucking extra time and Maguire got that goal.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have the greatest game, but I don't think he had any worse game than anyone else. But he was the only one who didn't even get back into the squad after that. Like Scott and Fred still got back in, even though I think that was the worst performance I've seen the two of them all season last season. Can't remember who else played. Dan James didn't do anything that game. Like, I mean, the only person that was any good was Maguire, and he's the one who ended up scoring. But it's just weird the way Ollie has this thing against him, because I feel like Ollie kind of depended on him a little bit when he first came in, because he kind of knew that he was an attacking wingback, and that's what Ollie liked. And then the second one was he bought Wan-Bissaka like 2 years ago. Then it was just like, okay, well, this is my right back, so I don't need Dalot anymore. And that's the thing that I've seen in interviews that people ask Ollie, because like, in the way some managers will be like, yeah, I don't want this, like Mourinho basically was like, I need a center back. I don't like any of these center backs that I have. Like, and then
to be fair,
I mean, I don't. Yeah, with Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, and then you have Eric Bailly and Rojo who are constantly injured. Like, I completely understand why he said that, but like, how does that help the confidence of that player then? You know what I mean? Like, then they're like, oh, well, he doesn't fucking want me. I'm not good enough. So I guess if I keep playing like shit, it's not like I have anything to live up to.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight for a place in the squad when I don't have one.
Yeah, exactly. But then with Ollie, what he does is he slowly phases the players out. Like, like Lukaku. He first came in and Lukaku kind of played a little bit. And then he put Martial up top and started phasing Lukaku out. And he basically, what he did with Alexis was just like, you go do your own thing. You don't have a place in this team. But he never came out and said, Alexis and Lukaku don't have a place in our team. He's like, there are players. They'll be at every training. We'll see if they have a spot in the team. But everyone still has to work. He's not saying like, oh yeah, those two aren't in the team at all.
Yeah,
which is, I think, people will shit on him for that, but it's like, what else is he supposed? Is he supposed to just shit on them and then they go back to the team dressing room and be like, oh, you see how shit he's treating me? He's going to be treating you like that here soon.
Well, if he did that, then the board just hired the same manager in Mourinho. I mean, because that's what Mourinho does. That's how Mourinho kind of tore that locker room up. I think that we had bad teams under good managers prior to Mourinho. And then we had a good team under a bad manager with Mourinho towards the end, I feel like. If that makes sense. I mean, because, especially in the 2018 season when we had Lukaku, Zlatan, or was that 17? We had Lukaku, Zlatan. Yeah. No, we brought in Lukaku in 18,
mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Or was it 17?
It was Mourinho's second year is when we got Lukaku.
Did we have he and Zlatan at the same time?
Yeah, we had the two of them at the same time, but I think no, because Zlatan got hurt. He did something to his knee.
And then took off to PS. Okay.
Yeah, he was there. He was there for the first 6 months of the season. And then when he fucked up his knee, then he him and United had the agreement, and then he just kind of left and recovered, and which it made no sense. Like, you're still paying his wages, but you're telling him he could join another team. That some things that the board does just doesn't make sense as a United fan looking at it. Like, the whole when Sanchez came in, giving him fucking outrageous wages. What he did the season that we got him from Arsenal, he did fuck all before that. And then they were like, oh yeah, well, we'll just give you Mkhitaryan, and then we can give you outrageous wages because we don't even have a transfer fee. So, but anyway, yeah, to get back to your point about like good teams and bad managers. I don't necessarily think Mourinho's a bad manager. He's a very bad man manager. You either play his style and you agree with him, or you hit the road. That's just the way he is. But
well, I mean, in terms of like he used to be, I think he's a bad manager now. And not even that he's a bad manager, but he's definitely not what he used to be, which is consistent. It was within 2 or 3 years, like. Consistently, he would have 2 or 3 trophies.
Yeah.
From early 2000s until
he was like an instant everywhere he went. It was like almost instant success. Because like Inter Milan, he won that treble that year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but he won Porto with a bunch of people who weren't proven yet. Inter Milan, a team that probably shouldn't have won, to be fair. I mean, it was a good team, but
Yeah, probably should have won Europe.
Yeah, came over to Chelsea and tore it up here.
Then left and came back.
Yeah, tore it up in England, and then he just felt. I mean, after the Chelsea escapade where he got fired, I think that's when I think that hurt his managerial kind of like.
What destroyed him?
His id, like I think that fucked him up.
Was who is that physical therapist that Chelsea had? The girl.
I'm not sure.
The Latina girl. He got into a fight with her, and I think that's what fucked him up, because that's the first time he had like. Something happened, like a player was injured or something, and he's yelling at her to like, get him up, get him ready to go. And she's like, he cannot play, like he is hurt, like he will not, like he can't come back on. So, and before that, anything Mourinho said was always like, yes sir, like I'll do what you do. And then she was the first person that I could think of that basically was like, no, fuck you. And he ended up firing her, and then everyone shit on Mourinho for firing her when she was just doing her job. And I think that is like where it all fucking started.
Dude, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I can't remember her name.
So you think that just like
that's
fucked him for life?
If you go back to where before that game, Mourinho and all the success he was having, you go to that game that happened, that lady got sacked the next day. Since then, it's been shit for him.
Well, I mean, but I think the club firing hurt that man.
Yeah.
I mean, like in every single thing that. Well, he did the 3 thing at Chelsea where he was like doing 3 and then like pointed at the stadium. He was walking out at the away game. He's had press conferences where he's been like, I won 3 fucking like,
yeah.
I've been killing it. And I think he's just really sour they did that to him.
Yeah.
I mean, because that is the first big team that ever really gave him a shot. Like that is like, his club for real. So I don't know. I think them firing him in what was it, 2014, 15?
Yeah, it was definitely a blow to his pride. Without any question.
I think it broke in Mourinho like power like that he has to just get like his managerial who he is. I think it really just fucked him up.
Yeah.
Because it showed at Man U and now it's showing at Spurs
already. I haven't even looked at that Amazon documentary yet, but I'm interested to look at it. Yeah.
Watching it, it's really good. But it's
that clip that's going around today of him saying Pogba is coming, and when he comes on, he'll be in this area of the field, and he points to like the midfield to the right of the center circle. And he's like, Rashford will be here, and he's going to play a long ball to Rashford, and he'll be in then. And yeah, exactly what he said was going to happen. But everyone's freaking out, like, how did he know that was going to happen?
It's not tactical
If
genius.
you didn't know that was going to happen, you haven't ever watched United play then.
No, the other 18 managers in the league told their players that exact same thing. They just can't handle it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're just too good. It has nothing to do. There was no tactical genius there. They're not about to feed Luke Shaw.
Yeah. The year before, when they played Spurs, before Pochettino got sacked, when they were at Wembley, Pogba played the exact same ball opposite side. Rashford was on the right. Pogba was on the left of center circle. Exact same ball to Rashford. Rashford goes in and scores. Then again against Chelsea, first game of the season last season, Pogba sees Rashford making a run from the left to the right. Pogba plays it to his foot. Rashford goes in and scores.
It's like clockwork.
And people were like, it's so crazy that he knew that was going to happen. If you didn't know that was going to happen, you need to reevaluate your soccer, like how good you are at reading a soccer game. Because holy shit, it's so obvious that that's what they're doing.
Rashford just makes the best runs. I mean, it's not like only Pogba can hit Rashford. It's like James couldn't assist anybody else last year. He only assisted Rashford. Every single assist he had was to Rashford.
Yeah.
Pogba, like you said, Bruno when he got here.
And that goes back to the point with Rashford, like taking players on. Like he didn't make any of those runs really when it came back from the lockdown.
No, he just kind of floated.
Which I completely understand. Maybe you're still not fully recovered from your injury. Because I mean, it is a back injury. It's a pretty big injury.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to
twist and all that.
Yeah,
going on.
Which I completely understand. But he does whenever he does make a run, it's always a very smart run, and he always goes make sure he's going somewhere where the ball can be played and it's into a certain space where the defender he knows that he has time to touch it and take the defender on, or he just touch it once and he's in. So, but then that boy Tony Martial.
Dude, I know, and here's I think is where we're gonna disagree. I think we need a new, maybe not a new like another striker. I don't mean new in the sense of like taking Marshall's spot, but like
I was completely like anti like Martial FC. I was completely anti all that. I thought he was shit. I thought United it was a waste of time getting him.
From the get-go, you did.
No. I think it was when his second season, because he came in and he did great. He had a first good season, and the next few seasons his goals just started dipping, and then when Solskjaer came, they started going back up. But there was one game against City a couple years ago, and I think it was a 2-2 draw. He came on in the 70th minute, and he stayed in the same spot for that entire 70 minutes. I just thought he was lazy as shit. And he always seemed like he had a bad fucking attitude. And I thought that it was that 50 million was like that whole chant about him. Tony Marshall came from France. The English media gave him no chance. 50 million down the drain.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was 50 million down the drain. He did fucking nothing for 2 seasons.
He was playing off the left, then, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, him and Rashford were fighting for a spot off the left, which I guess when you have Lukaku who was Mourinho's like perfect fucking striker, that's what you're gonna have to do. But what I never understood was why wouldn't one of them want to play on the right then? Because there was no right mid at that time.
They both started on the right. Martial started on the right at Monaco, and Rashford started on the right when he came in under Louis van Gaal.
Yeah. So why do the two of them love the left so much now? Is it because they can just cut in into the center and shoot?
Yeah. I mean, and that's even what Martial does at number 9.
Yeah.
He and Rashford weave it works, but I mean the whole weaving thing works because they'll both float inside and outside.
Yeah.
But no, I mean I'd rather have a number 9.
See, I agree with that, but the way Rashford and Martial play off each other is phenomenal sometimes. But when we brought Igalo in on loan, I was like, that is the perfect fucking backup striker because he can actually hold the ball up and
does well.
Yeah, and does well at it. Like against City, when he came on, the ball got played up to him, and he chested it down and controlled it, and he passed it off to whoever was on the right. I can't remember who it was, and they gave that shit pass up to the keeper, and then Ederson threw it out straight to McTominay. But that was like exactly the type of at that time was the striker that we needed to just because we were under so much pressure. Just kick the ball up to him and he can control it and he'll let it sit there. Which I don't think Josh King is that if that's who United are actually in for a long term.
He's too nimble, and here's my point. I don't want a striker who can play out wide.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then King played out wide half of the time last year. Your nimble strikers like that who can play on the outside, they are the smaller strikers of the old days.
Yeah.
Like where you need a small, fast striker and then a power striker. Yeah, you need a big guy. And especially with how we're playing, if we're going to be crossing as much as we are, I want somebody who can head the ball.
And the thing is,
we're not trying to work into the box. We're carrying up the sideline and cross it.
When we had Lukaku, we're trying to walk the ball into the goal. And now that we're trying to cross it, we got rid of Lukaku. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. But I will say this about Tony Marshall is that since the restart last season to the end of the season, he was playing like more of a striker that like kind of floats around and like goes to the left and goes to the right. But his hold-up play got a lot better as like the season ended. Yeah. And I was very surprised. So if he does keep that up, I think we'd be fine with keeping him as number 1, of course. But like you're saying, bringing in a backup big striker, and everyone's saying Haaland, but I don't think Haaland is that striker. Every time I watch him play, he's constantly on the turn, trying to run in behind and try and get a ball play to him.
He's got the makings of a target man. Obviously 6'4", pacey